Good afternoon. This hearing is called to order. This is the public hearing of the City Council Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. The purpose of this hearing is to hear testimony on bills number 190637 and 190765. Members of the committee in attendance are Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown, Councilman Alan Dom, Council President Darrell Clark, and Councilman Kenyatta Johnson. The clerk will now read the title of bill number 190765.
Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Parks and Recreation on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a stormwater easement agreement with the School District of Philadelphia to allow for the management of stormwater discharge from the northern portion of the school district parcels located at 3201 Ryan Avenue and 3001 Ryan Avenue, Philadelphia, PA, by way of overland flow to the adjacent Pennypack Park, all under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you. And if we could have the clerk now call the title or call the names of the witnesses to testify.
Terrence McKenna. Aparna Valentino.
Please state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Terrence McKenna with Gilbane, Senior Project Executive for the project.
Okay, and you can begin your testimony.
Madam Chairman, we submitted written testimony for the record, and I'm happy to read it or can answer any questions you may have relative to that testimony.
Well, you could actually read it because this is going to be a very brief hearing anyway. We don't have a lot of folks to testify, but if you could read it just so that folks will be familiar with the bill and with the work that Gilbane will be doing in this project.
Sure, absolutely. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Terrence McKenna, and I'm a Senior Project Executive with Gilbane Development Company. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing us to testify today. We also thank Councilman Heenan for his sponsorship of Bill number 190765 and his continued support with this endeavor. Bill number 190765 before you this morning seeks authorization for the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation on behalf of the city to enter into a stormwater easement agreement with the School District of Philadelphia to allow for the management of stormwater discharge from the northern portion of the school district parcels located at 3001 Ryan Avenue and 3201 Ryan Avenue. The agreement will allow the management and maintenance of the current stormwater discharge pattern and flow during and after construction of a new K-8 elementary school situated at the northern portion of the premises. The need for the proposed discharge of stormwater via overland flow to the adjacent Pennypack Creek is required by the Philadelphia Water Department due to the existing site's current stormwater runoff patterns. In the existing condition, the northern portion of the project limits drains via overland flow to Pennypack Creek, while the southern portion drains towards existing stormwater conveyance structures and then into public storm sewers. The Philadelphia Water Department has requested, to the extent possible, this drainage pattern is maintained in the proposed condition. To that end, surface infiltration basin and installation of infrastructure known as a level spreader, has been proposed at the northern extents of the project limits to mimic the current natural flow of stormwater discharge and manage approximately 121,600 square feet of drainage area that discharges stormwater via overland towards Pennypack Creek. In addition, the project involves the construction of a new K-8 school for approximately 1,600 students. Will be union construction with a focus on employing local residents affiliated with the unions, and Gilbane has committed to a 40% participation of minority and women-owned firms during the construction of the new school. In conclusion, Gilbane Development Company respectfully requests the committee recommend passage of the bill to allow this important project to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You can state your name and begin your
Aparna
testimony.
Valentino, Deputy Commissioner, Parks and Recreation. Good afternoon, Chairwoman Bass and members of the Committee on Parks and Recreation. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill Number 190765, an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a stormwater easement agreement with the School District of Philadelphia to allow for the management of stormwater discharge from the northern portion of the school district parcels located at 3201 Ryan Ave and 3001 Ryan Avenue, by way of overland flow to the adjacent Pennypack Park, all under certain terms and conditions. This bill, sponsored by Councilman Heenan, was introduced in conjunction with the Philadelphia School District's plan to build a new school on the site of the current Austin Meehan Middle School. This easement will allow surface stormwater drainage over park property, Pennypack Park specifically, and into the Pennypack Creek. The amount of drainage permitted by this proposed easement will be in accordance with the Water Department regulations for on-site stormwater management. The easement will enable the stormwater management system constructed for the new school in accordance with the PWD requirements for new construction to slowly drain overflow stormwater through the park. It is anticipated that the stormwater discharge from the school property will most likely be infiltrated into park property, thus never reaching Pennypack Creek. The Department of Parks and Recreation supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully request that City Council approve Bill Number 190765. I'm also requesting a suspension of the rules so as to allow for first reading at the next session of Council. Thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions from the panel? Councilman Dom?
I have a question because I'm standing in for the committee today, so I just have a general question. And that is, what is the cost of this project? Do we know?
Cost of the project is approximately $78,900,000.
78 million.
900,000.
And over what time period will this construction occur?
We're looking to break ground this December, mid-December, and the school is to be delivered so that the school district can open in September of 2021. So it's approximately a 18-month construction.
18 months. How many square feet will the school be?
Approximately 180,000.
And how many, do you have any idea how many children we can accommodate in the school?
School is designed for 1,660 students. It can ultimately accommodate approximately 1,900 students, but the school district designs for approximately 85% below maximum capacity.
And I don't even know, is this school K through 6 or what?
K through 8.
K through 8. And just stormwater is just part of that whole process, basically.
That is correct. It's part of the site development. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for your testimony today. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I just had a brief question. First, I wanted to acknowledge the presence of Councilwoman Cheney Blackwell, who's here and joined us. But I had a question regarding your last statement in terms of minority participation, MWDBE participation, and 40%. And can you speak to Gilbane's commitment to that number? Because, as you know, there has been a considerable amount of concern around minority participation, particularly African American and Latino participation in these work sites in Philadelphia. So can you speak to that and to ensuring us that this 40% number is going to be real?
Yes, absolutely. As part of the bid for this school, there was a requirement by the school district to have 35%. We went above that because we felt it was achievable to go above that to 40% based upon our most recent projects. As Councilman Johnson will attest, down at the Stadium Casino in Philadelphia, we're well above 60% participation at this point. And for a recent project for the Port of Philadelphia, we finished about 42%. So we have the subcontractors in line. We're currently working with them, and we feel 40% or above is achievable.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for your testimony. Councilman Dom?
So one other question. I just did the math, 78 million construction, 180,000 square feet, comes out to like 433 a foot. Is that typically the cost? I'm just trying to educate myself on building new schools across the country, or is that specific for Philadelphia?
Actually, it's a tough question to answer relative to the country as a whole, because as you're aware, there is union construction in Philadelphia. In other jurisdictions, there's non-union. In jurisdictions where there's union construction or federally funded construction where prevailing wage would come into play, it is very competitive. In some instances, we're the largest K-8 builder in the United States. In some jurisdictions, we're seeing construction costs north of $500, approaching $600 a square foot.
And one other question on that. The school you're building, is this going to be like a state-of-the-art with technology and so forth?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
You have any idea what's going to be in that school?
From a technology standpoint, I'm a civil engineer by degree, so I'm not the best one to opine on technology. Right. But it is being designed as a state-of-the-art school with specific standards dictated by the School District of Philadelphia.
Okay. Thank you very much for your testimony. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you both for your testimony. Any additional questions? No? Oh, Councilwoman, did you have a question? Councilwoman Blackwell?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of this Recreation Committee. We are asking for your consideration in having the Sarah Morris Recreational Center. It's really a pool at 5800 Walnut Street, made part of the city's inventory. I know there has to be some repairs.
Well, Councilwoman, can I ask? Can we pause on that for one moment, because I think we're going to come to that one next. We went out. We went out of order, so it's not you. It's
I'm
us.
sorry.
No.
Whenever you're ready, let me know.
No. We stepped out of order, but we'll be right back at you. Is there anyone else to testify on Bill number 190765? No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in for your testimony. And if we could have the clerk read the title of 190637.
Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to acquire fee simple title or lesser interest by purchase, dedication, donation, condemnation, agreement in lieu of condemnation or otherwise in Sarah Morris Recreation Center located 5800 Walnut Street for public recreational or other purposes under certain terms and conditions.
And can you call the first witness to testify as well?
Aparna Valentino.
Okay. Aparna, before you begin your testimony, I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Blackwell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry I went out of order. We've been dealing with Sarah Morris since I was a child. The only times it used to be one of the major places in our city. This was where people took their tests, their swimming tests, to work anywhere in the city. It was very, very well-known, very popular, and very respected. In years now, the school district has not maintained it. The only time it's been open is when I beg people to do me favors and go in and try to deal with the conditions and what they talk about, lead paint, the pool, all of those sorts of things. And the only hope, I believe, for Sarah Morris is if we could get in the city's inventory. Now, I know that Recreation says pay for everything and then we'll ask the city to take it. I know how they feel about it, but we also know that it doesn't have to be that way. I know the president has had a pool donated, certainly in this way from the school district. to the city, and we're asking if we can ask for the same thing, have this pool donated to recreation, and then we'll deal with all else that has to happen in terms of the repairs and what else needs to be done.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Council Lady.
Thank you.
Aparna, you can state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Aparna Valentino, Deputy Commissioner, Parks and Recreation. Good afternoon, Chairwoman Bass and members of the Committee on Parks and Recreation. I'm here today to offer testimony on Bill Number 190637, an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to acquire fee simple title or lesser interest by purchase, dedication, donation, condemnation, agreement in lieu of condemnation or otherwise in Sarah Morris Recreation Center located at 5800 Walnut Street for public recreational or other purposes under certain terms and conditions. The Department of Parks and Recreation has not had the opportunity to review site and environmental assessments for the Sarah Morris parcel, as this information is still being compiled by the School District of Philadelphia. Once the assessments have been completed and the school district has undertaken measures to fully implement capital improvements to the building, gymnasium, and swimming pool, ensuring that the facilities are fully operational and code compliant, Parks and Recreation will consider bringing this property into our inventory. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman.
I've talked with Dr. Height several times. He said he's happy to make the donation. And
Wonderful.
so that's not the issue. And if we could take it, we could work out any other issues after we have ownership of it.
Well, thank you very much, Councilwoman, and we
Thank you.
recognize that we have a lack of swimming facilities in our neighborhoods, and so, you know, the idea of bringing this property over into the Parks and Rec inventory so that we can have it as a place where our young people can learn how to swim. African-American children drown at a rate of like
That's
60
right.
to 70% because they don't know how to swim. So we want to make sure that we have these amenities available within our community. So thank you so much for bringing this to our
Thank
attention
you.
and for the committee. Any additional questions from the committee? No? Okay. Is there anyone else here to testify on Bill Number 190637? Okay, and there being none, we will now go into our public meeting. Okay. Chair recognizes Councilman Kenyatta Johnson for a motion on Bill Number 190637.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that Bill Number 190637 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
It's been moved and properly seconded. One moment. One moment. Thank you. We've been joined by Councilman Heenan, and the chair recognizes Councilman Johnson for a motion on Bill number 190637.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that Bill number 190637 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
All those in the motion will say aye. I'm sorry. Second. It's been moved and properly seconded that Bill number 190637 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading at the next session of council. All those in favor can now signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay, the motion passes, and Bill number 190637 will be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation with a request that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading at the next session of council. Chair recognizes Councilman Johnson for a motion on Bill number 190765.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the bill number 190637 be reported from this committee.
765.
I move that bill number 190765 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
It's been moved and properly seconded that Bill number 190765 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All in favor of this motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. And Bill number 190765 will be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, with a request that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading at the next session of council. And this concludes the business of this committee. Thank you.